Hi, welcome to video number 271, Sustainable Development, its definition and history, lecture number 1. Let me start with the official definition of sustainable development. The official definition of sustainable development was developed for the first time in the Brundtland report in 1987, and it defines sustainable development as the development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the need of the future generation to meet their own needs. Specifically, sustainable development is a way of organizing society so that it can exist in the long run, and this means taking into account both the imperatives present and those of future, such as preservation of the environment and natural resources or social and economic equity. How did the idea of sustainable development get relevant? The Industrial Revolution is connected to the rise of the idea of sustainable development. From the second half of the 19th century, Western societies started to discover that their economic and industrial activities had a significant impact on the environment and the social balance. Several ecological and social crises took place in the world, and arose awareness that a more sustainable model was needed. Some of the serious and social crises that took place in the 20th century are given here. The American banking crisis that happened in 1907. Then in 1923 there was the crisis of American hyperinflation. In 1929 came the Great Depression, and then there was the worldwide protest against the bureaucratic elites in 1968, and between 1973 and 1979 was the oil shock, and then in 1982 the debt shock of developing countries. In 1968, a famous philosopher and ecologist, Garrett Hardin, wrote an essay entitled The Tragedy of Commons. He argued that if the individuals act independently, rationally, and focused on pursuing their individual interests, they would end up going against the common interest of their communities and exhaust the Earth's natural resources. In this way, human free access and unlimited consumption of finite resources would extinguish these same resources. Hardin believed that since man is compelled to procreate unlimitedly, the earth resources would eventually get overexploited. To his eyes, mankind needed to radically change its way of using common resources to avoid a disaster in the future. This would be the way to keep up on a sustainable development track. Then there came the idea of limits to growth and sustainable development. A few years after Hardin's essay in 1972, Meadows and others, commissioned by the Club of Rome, ran a computer simulation that aimed to predict the consequences of what would happen in a planet with limited resources. The interactions between 5 different dimensions: world population growth, industrialization, pollution generation, food production, and non-renewable resource depletion were analyzed, considering a scenario where these variables grew exponentially and technology's ability to increase resources was linear. Then there was the first United Nations Conference on Environment and Sustainable Development. As the world's knowledge of global politics evolved, the first historical conference was organized in 1972. It took place in Stockholm, the UN Conference on the Environment, the first big world leaders meeting organized by the UN to discuss human impact on the environment and how it was related to economic development. Then came the idea of the Human Development Index and Sustainable Development in 1980. Once the idea of our planet had limits that needed to be respected grew, together with the idea that progress is not only about economic growth. Integrated solutions started to develop, as the case with the Human Development Index. The Human Development Index is nowadays a statistical tool which measures countries' economic and social achievements. Then there was HDI and the ecological footprint. Living above the minimum HDI would guarantee that human needs such as education and health are satisfied. An ecological footprint represents the maximum limit of consumption per person according to Earth's ecological capacity. Living below it wouldn't compromise the future generations, as the planet would be able to regenerate itself if we could manage to keep above the minimum HDI and below maximum ecological footprint per capita. I would be on the track for sustainable future. But the fact is that every year the Earth overshoot days come earlier. This day represents the day when humankind gets in debt with the planet. Why? Because our demand for ecological resources in a given year has been exceeding what the planet can regenerate in that same year. The Brundtland Report and Sustainable Development in 1987. Following this report, the human ability to ensure that the current development meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs was first widely accepted definition of sustainable development. The World Commission on Environment and Development also stood out that sustainable development needed to consider that developing has limitation. According to the organization, the present state of technology and social organization on environmental resources, together with the limited ability of the biosphere to absorb the effects of human activities, impose limitations on sustainable development. In 1988, there came the idea of climate change and sustainable development, and the International Panel on Climate Change was created by the United Nations Development Programme and the World Meteorological Organization with the purpose to develop and share knowledge about the impact of human activities on climate change. CO2 and methane are gases that exist to help the Earth keep its ideal temperature and guarantee life as we know it. However, the excessive production of these gases leads to an increase in the planet's atmosphere. This happens because part of the heat the Earth irradiates and that would go to the space keeps trapped in the atmosphere, and that leads to global warming and greenhouse gases. The Triple Bottom Line and Sustainable Development of 1994. The Triple Bottom Line is an important assumption that is part of the foundations of sustainable development. It was first used by John Elkington, the founder of a sustainability consultancy firm. This expression means that companies would consider three different bottom lines in their businesses, and not only, as was usual at time, care about the profit and loss account. This means that organizations should also measure how socially responsible the operations across their value chains are. The Millennium Ecosystem Assessment and Sustainable Development 2001. This was 4 years long investigation that started in 2001 and was requested by UN. Over 1200 researchers gathered to assess the consequences and ecosystems change had on human well-being, finding the scientific basis for action needed to improve the conservation and sustainable use of ecosystems with another goal. The main findings of the investigation were as follows. Humans have changed ecosystem more quickly and widely than ever before. The changes made to ecosystems improved human well-being and the economy, but have harmed the planet and the society. The degradation of ecosystem services would probably get worse over the 21st century. The changes needed to preserve the ecosystem's degradation and meet the increasing demand for services could still be met. Sustainable development today. Today's framework on sustainable development is quite strong, although there is still a huge way to go. The latest International Panel on Climate Change report demonstrated that big changes will need to happen quickly regarding the reduction of carbon dioxide emissions to keep the Earth's temperature below 2 degrees centigrade and prevent its devastating effects and impacts. There are many actors working with different agencies in different areas of sustainability. They share the same goal: to raise awareness on this topic and to create conditions for it to grow and develop. One of the main players is the United Nations, where different teams actively work on multiple changes such as beat plastic pollution and solve different apart from organizing the meetings between the world leaders. At the same time, entities like the Ellen MacArthur Foundation are opening ways when it comes to the circular economy and how societies and businesses can align how they use natural resources with the way nature does it. Aligning businesses' operations across their supply chains is also allowing a different and ecological business model to develop, such as growing mushrooms from coffee leftovers. Finally, I would like to discuss the 3 pillars of sustainable development. It includes economic growth, environmental health, and social balance. So, environmental sustainable development includes these 3 pillars, and they have their own objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, kindly hit on this red button, and do not forget to click on bell icon so that you can get early notification about other videos that will be uploaded for you people. I would like you people to like, comment, and share this video with your colleagues, with your friends, and with other students, so that they can also get some benefit by watching this video. Thank you very much for watching.